144 views.
I'm streaming it up again. I still think I'm lagging. Am I lagging, guys? Let me know. I'm trying my best here because the internet was acting up. It looks better now when I'm looking at the screen. But I'm still a little laggy. Go ahead and talk, JC.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Just let us know, guys. Help us out. Colby, there's something's acting up on my end tonight. I don't know. It might be, I don't know, the Skype, but let me know. Let me know if it's good. Caesar, let me know if we're good. Is it lagging or are we good?
Yeah, right. Looks like no lag. No lag,
okay. I switched to 5G. I'm trying to see if that helps out. We were talking about the Mets, and we will take some questions out because we were talking a lot about the Mets, and the chat didn't seem to be moving. So I didn't know if it was because nobody was in here or if it was because my chat wasn't moving because of the lagging. So 27 says, all right, what's up, Central Coast Climate? Yeah, it's still, I still see it's lagging a little bit, but not as bad. So what's going on? Just shoot out some questions, guys. Anything about the Mets related, but if you don't shoot them out, we'll just keep talking.
Yeah, here we go. Mike has a question. He was wondering, what are our thoughts on Thor's comments showing the frustration by, with the whole travel schedule.
The travel.
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Because what I read, he was pissed off about DeGrom. He said they got to give him his money.
Yeah, that and the travel schedule. Did you hear about that?
I didn't hear about that.
So, I guess the Mets are just going to be skipping going back to New York, and they're just going to go straight to D.C. for the first series, which pisses me off as a fan. And Thor kind of voices his frustrations with the team as well, along with paying DeGrom.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, Thor's never been one to shy away from giving his opinion. He's always been that guy, and I admire him for it. He has a valid point, I just can't wait for baseball. That's all I'm thinking about is opening day, DeGrom versus Scherzer. That is going to be electric. Then you've got Syndergaard day 2 going up. I can't wait. I just can't wait for baseball to start. I'm optimistic every year. So I am not a good person to go by. Every year I think the Mets are going to contend, and they usually break my heart. But we're going to get and you can't even get excited after the first 10 or 11 games because last year the Mets started out, 11-1? Oh, Detonator, yep. Thank you so much for the suit. They started at 11-1. We all think they're going to the World Series, and then they just completely fall apart. So you cannot get a read on this team till at least 2-3 months into the season. So I will not get excited. Even if they start 15-0, I will not get excited.
Yeah, to kind of go back to Mike's question, it does kind of bother me a little bit because you don't want your players, especially your star players, to go into the season like disgruntled. You know what I mean? Like pissed off at the organization. Like we're not even at game 1 and we're already having players complain about something that's not even like that. It's not even something that happened on the field. This is something that's completely in the Mets' control. And it's almost like we're already screwing it up. You know what I mean? Like it just bothers me.
It's typical Mets, man. And Devon, I'm not gonna argue with you with that the Yankees are gonna be the best. I'll be the first to tell you, Yankees have a lot more talent. Well, the Mets have more talent in certain areas, in my opinion. But overall, the Yankees have a better team.
Yeah. And Stuck in the 80s is in the chat. Shout out to him. One of my favorite YouTube channels. Even though I don't know any of the movies, but I always want to watch all the movies. And I get like halfway through all of his videos, and then I always have to click off because I don't want any spoilers. And I just like write them down on my list of movies I have to watch.
What movies have you watched that you've seen off of his recommendations?
Cocktail, Tom Cruise.
Great movie.
Top Gun. I did know about that movie, but beforehand, but he kind of like reinforced it and whatnot. I gotta say, Top Gun isn't one of my. I thought it was gonna be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then Bloodsport, of course, because the whole JCVD thing. And
look at this guy. You cannot look at JetsCentral and tell me he does not look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's Jean-Claude Van Damme without the huge muscles.
I don't know if that's a compliment or like an insult.
No, that's not an insult. Jean-Claude Van Damme was jacked out of his mind. But he was a good-looking guy. Let's see what we got. What's up, John Letourneau? Big Phillies fan over there. JC the Entertainer. Phillies are better than the Mets. Yeah, they are. I'm not going to argue with that. Going in, they're the favorite. But I don't think it's out of reach for the Mets. I'll say that. I think the Mets can absolutely contend for bare minimum a wild card this year. My stepdad is stuck in the 80s. Yeah. JC looks like a pizza man. All right.
I've heard that.
And we're waiting for some Mets questions if you want to shout them out. Otherwise, we'll just keep talking Mets. Yankees are better. Yeah, we all know the Yankees are better than the Mets. I mean, we know this. We know this. Any updates on Wilson? Yes, GC. We talked about that a little earlier, but the stream was lagging. The X-rays came back negative. Everything seems like it's good to go. Now, will he miss maybe a couple of games? Possible. But it doesn't. He's not going to miss any real time. Wilson Ramos will be there.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Ramos, I have to say, Ramos, everybody's, like, talking about Cano, you know, and all these different guys, all these, like, big signings that happened, like, throughout the offseason. And granted, you know, Cano is obviously a trade, but you guys know what I mean. Wilson Ramos, I mean, looking at his numbers last year, he's going to be such a huge addition, not only just on the field, right, just like physically, like putting up, you know, just getting on base and just finally getting some production, you know, some offensive production from the catcher spot. I mean, that's going to be huge, but also that veteran leadership behind the plate for these young pitchers like Matz and Wheeler, because Darno, Plawecki,
I mean, don't even started on those two. I mean, I was begging for years for them to get rid of Darno, and it's like addition. I mean, he's good, but just like addition by subtraction. Just the fact we got rid of Darno, and now we bring in arguably a top 3 or 4 catcher in the sport. I mean, he probably won't be great for more than a year or two. It's very, you know what it kind of reminds me of? I'm not saying they're similar players, but he came in at a similar point in his career, Paul LaDuca. They brought in like a veteran, established, top 5 or 6 catcher, and he gave him a year and a half, really good year and a half. I could see something similar with Ramos. Obviously, we're hoping for good 3 years, but I think he's going to be really good this year, and maybe we get another really good year out of him. That's my expectations with Ramos.
Right, and you know, with that said, I would still rather have JT for sure.
Oh, of course.
But I you know, Ramos was definitely a nice insurance policy.
Oh, Ramos was, for what they pay. I mean, what was, I don't even remember the contract. Was it like 3 years?
Yeah, 3-year contract.
Yeah, it was a good deal. It was a good deal. Let's see. And I mean, Real Muto was a big wasn't it 5? I think it was 5 years.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at the sabermetrics and like all those like really advanced stats, Real Muto is like he's projected to be one of or the best catcher in baseball for like the next like 3-4 years.
I've been a Real Muto guy since last year. I was begging for the Mets to go out and trade for him. I love Real Muto. I think it was a great pickup by the Phillies. I always say he's Jason Kendall with power. You know, because he's got the speed that Jason Kendall had. He hits for average, but he's got a lot more pop. And he's got a cannon for an arm. I mean, that guy's just a complete ball player. Let's see. Hey, Chris, what do you think about my Braves signing Josh Donaldson? Josh, I mean, what was the exact contract? Well, Chris, no, this is a baseball stream. We're gonna talk baseball. What's going on? It's Cola. He says, JC, I didn't know you were a Met fan. Weird seeing you talk baseball. What's up, entertainment? Yeah. Well, this is a new thing we're gonna do once a week. Every Sunday, we're gonna try to build up the Mets fan base, get a good show going on, and hopefully. And by the way, anybody that's not done so, JC's link is in the description below. I'm sure almost everybody in here knows who he is, but if you don't, go and check out his content. It is fantastic. Stuck in the 80s asks us, okay, we're gonna have 2 completely different answers here because I grew up a Met fan since I've been a diehard Met fan.
Like last 50 years you've been like watching the Mets, you know?
No, since like 97 I've really been like big time. And you're more like what, like 2010?
2000 like really 2008, 2009 to like now.
Yeah.
That's like cuz I didn't grow up like football was always big in my family, it was like football nonstop, and like I didn't grow up watching baseball or basketball. I kind of got into those sports by myself, and then like when I started playing them, that's like I didn't really have a love for playing baseball either, because I kept getting hit, at the plate. I got hit in the face 2 times in one game, and I quit after that, and then I regret.
You got hit in the face 2 times in one game?
Yeah, and when I was batting, and it was like like the little travel leagues and whatnot, but after that, I had no desire to play baseball. I'm like, I hate this sport. Like, I don't like it at all. And then like a few years went by, and that's when I started watching MLB. I'm like, you know what? Let me give baseball another chance. And that's kind of when I got into it.
My top 5 favorite Mets of all time. My all-time favorite Met is Edgardo Alfonzo. I loved everything about Alfonso. If you didn't get a chance to see him play, I'm sure you've seen highlights. But such a clutch player. Definitely, in my opinion, the clutchest Met that I've ever seen play. The guy fouled off every pitch. He was in such a tough out. He got so many big hits. What are you laughing at?
Oh no, just reading some of the comments, the JCVD. Yeah.
I got Alfonso 1. I got Piazza 2. Piazza, the greatest hitter of all time in Mets history. greatest hitting catcher ever. I was actually at the game where Piazza broke the home run record for a catcher. Opposite field home run, hit it off the scoreboard. He's my number 2. Number 3, I'll go DeGrom. I mean, I love DeGrom. I'll go DeGrom number 3. I'll go DeGrom number 3. I'll go Reyes 3. Reyes 3, DeGrom 4, and I'll go... It was a tough one, the last one. I'm not a huge Wright guy, but I got to put him 5. I'll put Wright 5. I'll put Wright 5.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I was going to say, man, D. Wright, that'd be pretty crazy to leave him off the top 5.
Yeah, I got him. I'll have him 5.
Yeah, so I'll go number 1, Reyes, because Reyes, I remember, like, he's, like, kind of that, you know, what got me into baseball, because, you know, growing up, I always thought it was just, like, home runs and, you know, boring, like, you know, it takes a long time and this and that, but Reyes, like, I always remember watching his highlights before school, like, before I had to get on the bus, and it was just, like, nonstop, like, steals and doubles and stuff like that, so he really got me into the sport, like, got me thinking, like, okay, you have to be, like, an athlete, you don't have to be, like, David Ortiz, like, because that's kind of, like, the stereotype I had for baseball at the time.
You know,
so Reyes,
that's a great story you bring up, because I feel like Reyes, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just thinking of it as you're talking. Reyes is like the type of player, when he was in his prime, he is the type of player, if you are not a baseball fan, you will fall in love with the sport. Because he was so exciting, he could turn, what would be a single for some players into a triple. I mean, a guy like a David Ortiz, it might be a single for him. The way he was able to run from first to third, I've never seen a player like it. I mean, he was that special. And obviously didn't see Henderson in his prime. But I mean, that 3 or 4 year stretch, his fielding was terrific too. It was just a complete all-around unbelievable talent for about 3 or 4 years. He was so special.
Yeah, I loved Reyes, man. Still do. Obviously, you know, too old now, but yeah, back in the day, like back in like 20, like especially like 2010 to like 2000 whatever, you know, whatever it was. Even like his days with Miami and Toronto, like they weren't horrible. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, so Reyes number 1. I really liked Henry Mejia, the closer at the time, just because he brought energy. He had that nice little 2-seam fastball. So Mejia, I really liked Matt Harvey when he first kind of came onto the scene and the whole Dark Knight thing was going on, and he was just like unhittable and he was striking out everybody, just making like guys like Bryce Harper and whatnot just like look like, you know, it's just a clown show, right? Like he was just blowing people away with his like 99 mile per hour fastball. He was pretty crazy to watch. David Wright's obviously in the list as well, and I'm a big closer guy. I want to say K-Rod because he was like...
Oh, no, don't give me K-Rod. Don't give me K. He was such a bust. And by the way, anybody who doesn't know Henry Mejia, that doesn't know the Mets that well, Henry Mejia... And by the way, MH, I didn't say Dwight Gooden because I didn't see him in his prime. But Henry Mejia is the only player, to my recollection, that got caught for steroids while on suspension for steroids.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean... I'm trying to think back, man. I mean, there were some really cool players that had pretty solid years for us. And then there were some players that like I never really liked, you know, guys like Ike Davis and Jason Bay, Darno. There's a lot of players that...
Darno, okay, my most...
Oh, you know what? Here's my last one. Daniel Murphy.
Oh, I should have said Murphy. Oh, but I can't put him above Wright. But I love Murphy.
Yeah, just a classic contact guy who's from Florida.
I was really pissed off when the Mets let him go. I was so pissed off when the Mets let him go. You know, but
and the thing that pissed me off too is like the contract that he ended up signing with the Nationals of all teams, the Nationals. It wasn't even that expensive, and we went out and signed Neil Walker for like, I don't know, like I definitely would have paid like ponied up the cash for.
They should have kept Murphy. That was a big mistake. Let's turn to the chat here. I don't care for baseball, but I gotta show him. I appreciate that, J Zach. We're trying to get some people. And by the way, go over to J Zach, check him out. Can we call? Well, right now we're asking. I'm not talking about collabs. We're asking if you guys have questions. Chris doesn't forget. Well, Anthony Mazzano, I was saying, guys, that I got to see. Are you worried about being so left-handed dominant top of the lineup? I'd put Alonso and Ramos behind you. Yes, we were just talking about that, GC. How we would really try to focus on splitting up the lefties because they are so lefty dominant. All their top hitters, Nimmo, Conforto, Cano, their top 3 hitters arguably are all lefties. So yeah, the thing is, though, I don't want to put Alonso, a rookie, in such a pressure spot to start. And we don't even know if he's going to break the opening day roster. I think he will. But I wouldn't put him in the cleanup spot right out of the gate.
I'll say this much: I wouldn't complicate things. You know what I mean? Just know who your really good hitters are. Play to their strengths. Don't be so focused on or categorizing guys in. He's a righty. He's a lefty. We're gonna make every decision based off of what side of the plate they're standing on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Al Leiter's,
so I would that was one of my my issues with Terry Collins. I felt like he was too lefty righty switch. Just making sure the lineup was so unbalanced. I feel like he focused too much on that, and it cost the Mets a lot of the time.
I was a Collins guy. I recognized that he wasn't good with the bullpen. He wasn't the best X's and O's guy, but he got the team to play hard for him. I was a Collins guy, but I definitely agree with you that he wasn't the best in-game manager.
Right.
And Let's Go Champ asked, what about Al Leiter? Al Leiter, was an absolute. He was a jerk when he left the Mets, but he was and you didn't get to see him probably, but he was an absolute underrated Met. His first year with the Mets, he threw to a 2.5 ERA, and he was very similar to Mariano Rivera in the sense that you knew what he was going to throw, and he threw it anyway. He threw that cutter. I remember he must have broke 10 or 11 bats one game with that cutter. That cutter used to come right in on the hands of the batter. One of the best individual pitches I've seen a Met pitcher have, specifically a starting pitcher. Al Leiter had a tremendous cutter. I loved Al Leiter. Probably the best starting pitcher, other than the guys they have now, DeGrom and Syndergaard, the Mets have had since I've been watching the team for more than a 1-year stretch. Of course, Mike Hampton was great that year. They made the World Series. But for a 5-6 year period, he's arguably the best other than DeGrom, because Syndergaard hasn't put more than 1 or 2 full seasons together yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say just as far as single pitches or single season pitching, single good season that Mets starting pitchers have had. R.A. Dickey, that Cy Young year with the knuckleball, that was a crazy year. And
thank God that happened, because we were able to get rid of him for a great pat. We got Syndergaard, obviously. I mean, that worked out well. Mets have the best. Oh my God, the Mets broadcast team, absolutely the best. Not even close. I mean, do you get to hear them in Florida?
If I go out and get the Mets package, which is S and Y, they don't televise spring training games, by the way. But yeah, I mean, whenever I have a chance to listen to those guys, I mean, Ron Darling's my favorite guy in baseball to listen to, just because I love how you could just pop on a Met game, watch it, but also take individual little tips and tricks and apply it to your own game as well, and you just learn so much about the history, little tricks that he used to do and stuff like that, and same with Keith. Both of those guys are amazing.
They work off each other so well.
It's
like a yin and yang.
Yeah, and it's just so fun to listen to. It's just it's refreshing, because I mean, I feel like a lot of times, especially in football, the announcers are just they're just not there. It's just not what you want. But it's just an awesome feeling knowing that every time you put on a Met game, it's just a great listen, Yeah,
as boring as baseball is, it is by far the best game to listen to. I mean, some people say it's boring. I don't think it's boring, but I get why people say it's boring. It is a great listen on the radio. It by far the best game of sport to listen to on the radio.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, they're not even close. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really listen to too much like AM sports radio, in the car and this and that. But, I mean, some guys for baseball are just so boring. I know everybody.
Well, you know what it is. I'm probably accustomed to great announcers in New York. They've always had good announcers.
Some guys who is that guy? And I know I'm gonna get it's definitely whatever. I don't mean this disrespectful, but who was the guy, the legendary Dodger guy? Vin Scully was his name?
Yeah, Vin Scully, yeah.
So boring, in my opinion.
He had a great voice, though.
Maybe because it was just because he's old now.
Yeah.
And I definitely respected what he did, for that long time. But I mean, I cannot sit through a Dodger game. I can't sit through a Dodger game, unless of course we're playing the Mets.
Well, if you were a Dodger fan, you could. But I'd rather listen to entertain it than baseball.
Hey, you might have the chance to this season.
Dennis says JetsCentral make a video of Rob Gronkowski retiring from the NFL. He probably will. Meet the Mets. Howie Rose is great. Yes. Maybe he won't. What's going on, Milani? How you doing, buddy? Alonso made the opening day roster. There you go. Reportedly, Alonso made the opening day roster.
John asks projected wins for the Mets against the NL East.
Okay. just specifically the NL East division.
I believe so. Yeah, it looks like that was the question.
All right, so they play 76. No, wait. 19 times 4 is 76 games in division, right? So I'm going to go that they beat the Marlins. I'm going to be conservative. I'll say they beat the Marlins 12 times. I'll say they go 12-7 against the Marlins. I'll say they go. I think they go 10-8 against the Nationals. I think they're slightly better than the Nationals, my opinion. So that's 22-15. I'll go 500 against the Braves. That's 31-24. And I'll go. I say the Phillies beat them 12. They go under 500. They go 7-12. So I'll go 38 and 36 in division. I'll go 38 and 36 in division, Mets.
Crazy. You can be a math teacher. I can't do math like that. Really can't. I'll say this. I think we'll dominate Miami. I feel like we've always had the leg up on Miami, especially going into this season where we got a little bit better. They got a little bit worse. I mean, who's their 3-hole hitter? Neil Walker?
Yeah, they're not a good team. In my opinion, yeah, they're not a good team. I was being conservative. They could easily win 14 games, 14-5,
yeah.
15-4.
So I think we'll dominate Miami for sure. I think we'll split with Atlanta. Around 500. More or less. One game over, one game under. I don't know. Phillies, I think we'll do a pretty decent job against. I think we might. Kind of the same deals as Atlanta, maybe a little bit over 500, but I think against the Nationals we're going to struggle big time.
Really? You think they're the team you worry about in terms of matching up with?
Not as far as like being a threat to the division, but just kind of being like the Mets' kryptonite, if you will. Because it was never really Bryce Harper killing the Mets like it was with like a Chipper Jones in Atlanta kind of thing.
Good point.
It was always just the Washington team. Scherzer owns us. Strasburg owns us. We just... Rendon always having great games. Like, I just feel like the Nationals, they're the Mets' biggest rival in this division right now.
They definitely are.
As of right now.
Yeah, they definitely are right now. And that always changed. That's circumstantial. I mean, the Braves in the late 90s, early 2000s. Then you had the Phillies in the mid to late 2000s. And now it's the Nationals. But, yeah, I mean, it changes based on, just like football. The Giants, in the early 90s, it was the Redskins. Now it's more the Eagles and the Cowboys. It changes. Let's see what we got here. Any concerns with high ERAs for Matz, Wilson, and Diaz this spring? With Matz, I don't, and no, not with Diaz. But with Matz, I don't really concern myself with ERA with Matz. It's more innings pitched. Because that guy never goes late into games. And that is what I worry about with him. And it's what happened last year, if you remember correctly. Our bullpen got abused early in the season. And we were doing good. But it took a toll. Right? We started,
right, yeah.
Yeah, because and part of it had to do with the manager. He was pulling guys out after 5 innings, 80 pitches. And, Mickey Callaway. And so, but that's what I worry about with Matz. Very rarely does he go more than 5 innings. That's what I worry about with him.
Yeah,
if he could give me 6 innings on average with a 4.5 ERA, I would take that over 5 innings with a 4 ERA. I'd rather him extend more into games this season.
Yeah, he tends to. I mean, because he has a lot of different pitches. I mean, he has a really nice curveball. When his curveball is working, it's up there. Okay, it's definitely up there. I still like Matz though. He's older, but I still think he could get better.
He's good for a 4-starter. I mean, but the thing you got to worry about is innings. That's Wheeler. I think Wheeler's legit. I do. I think he proved it last year. I wouldn't sign him to an extension yet. I'd need to see it for another year. But I think Wheeler is a legit number 2 starter on most teams. I think the Mets have a very good rotation. Jason Vargas is absolute trash, and he is. I'm sorry. Is that what you're laughing at?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's absolute trash. And I was in favor of that signing last year. I thought, on a dollar cents basis, I thought it was a good signing by the Mets, and I was completely wrong. If you go back and look at the year before with the Royals, he made the All-Star game. He had an unbelievable first half. He threw to like a 2.9 ERA or something like that.
Yeah.
In the American League. And the second half, he threw to like a 6. And then last year, same thing. So, I mean, I'm not a Vargas guy. I didn't want him to be the 5th starter coming into the season. Unfortunately, he is. I don't think he makes it out of the first 2 months in the starting rotation. I'm not a Vargas guy.
Yeah, I agree. Well, who takes his place? I think it should be Who was it? He played for He played on a World Baseball team.
Oh, you talking about Lugo?
Yeah, Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo. I really like him, and he's another guy who tends to only go 4 or 5 innings, and if you could get to 6, that's excellent. But I really like his ability.
I like him, but I like him in the bullpen. I think he's very valuable in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's
like in today's day and age, it's just as it's probably more valuable to have a really good 7th inning guy than a number 4 starter. I think they have more of an influence on wins and losses, a good 7th inning guy than a number 4 starter. Because that's very important to have a guy that can give you 2 good innings in a game, late in the game, So I think he actually has more value being where he is than in the starting rotation. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. I mean, who's going to be in the bullpen this year, you think, for the Mets?
Well,
I mean, obviously...
Him and Gazelman, and then obviously the back 2 is the strength, Familia and Diaz. Those are the 4 big guys.
Yeah.
And they could definitely add another arm at the deadline. If they're in contention, I'm sure they will.
One guy I really, really, really wanted the Mets to add last season through the offseason. I know there were some talks too. Brody Vin. Brody obviously making a ton of moves this offseason, but trying to, it was crazy reading rumors about Corey Kluber possibly being traded to the Mets. Like, I would have loved him because he is one of the nicest 2-seam fastballs in the game. That slider, I feel like him teaming back up with Callaway just to come in and be the number 3 starter, and you're not asking him to do a whole lot, just go 6 innings, 6-7 innings here and there. That would be tremendous. So keep an eye on him for the deadline the Mets are good.
That'd be awesome. I see Josh from the Sports Fury, or I don't know if it's Sean or Josh, is in the stream. Everybody, do me a favor and go on over there and check their channel out. And as I said earlier, if you have not done so, go to the link in the description. And check out my man JC. And Delano's in the chat. He says, do you think Vargas can improve, or is it what I'm not going to say it's impossible. We've seen pitchers bounce back. I hope. If he gives me a 4.5 ERA this year, I'll sign for that right now. Give me the pen. Give me the paper. 4.5 ERA from Vargas right now. I'll sign for it.
See, if I'm running the Mets, I'm not stooping to that level. I'm not accepting that mediocrity from Vargas.
But Vargas sucks.
I think Lugo could do better. I really do believe that.
But, okay, I still stand by that. I think Lugo has more value out of the pen. But I'm not saying he can't do better than a 4.5 ERA. Because if you bring him into the starting rotation, you're weakening your bullpen. What are you going to put Vargas in the bullpen? I
would get rid of Vargas. I don't want Jason Vargas on the team.
I don't either, but they're paying him $8 million a year.
What does his fastball top out at, 89?
He sucks. He's horrible. I'll be the first to tell you that. He's garbage.
We could call up some random guy from AAA or AA, and we'll be better off.
Well, I think Vargas gets to start the season. He's going to get a month and a half, and if he sucks, they're going to move on.
Hey, whatever happened to Rafael Montero? You remember him?
Yeah, of course. That's a good question. He showed bits and spurts, but he was never consistent at the major league level. That's a good question.
Right. But I'm talking about right now. Is he in AAA?
Yeah,
AA?
I think he's in AAA. I don't know for sure. Maybe somebody in the chat knows that. Tim Tebow play. I hope not. If Tim Tebow plays with this team, Sports Live and the ATL in the house. If Tim Tebow plays for this team this year, the Mets are in trouble. That means that they're absolute garbage and they're trying to sell tickets at the end of the year. Because he has no.
They'll sell him. They'll sell him, man. Tebow.
They will. But I think it's an embarrassment as a Mets fan that that's even a possibility that Tim Tebow could be on the roster at some point. It was clearly a PR move by the Mets, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's not like he's some horrible player though. It's not like he's batting 0.
But but he has a 680 OPS. He's 33. I mean,
well, we all know the reason why he was signed.
Yeah. And Sentinel says wild card this year. I think it's very possible. Sentinel's a big Met fan. He's been waiting for us to get this show up and running. He's actually from Italy.
Okay. Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah, he tunes in from Italy. And we're going to go a little later tonight because the show got screwed up. We're going to do this every Sunday and maybe even twice a week in season. If a big event happens or something like that, we'll be sure to go live.
Yeah, and of course, in the season, too, we're going to be recapping the games that happen, throughout the week, and then previewing the following week as well. So, a lot of fun, a lot of cool stuff as well.
Yeah, we'll have, even if it's not all live, we'll have like videos that we did in season on your channel. It'll be Met stuff on my channel, like just recaps of the week, previews of the week, whatever. We're gonna try to get the Met content up and going, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season, especially with JC, because he's unbelievable.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course, man. When does the season start? March 28th. Opening day against the Nationals. You're going to have and a great pitching matchups to start the year. I mean, as good as it gets. The two stud national pitchers versus our two studs. You can't ask for much more than that. I mean,
yeah. Let me ask you, and maybe somebody in the chat knows as well. Who do the Phillies play opening day? Because I want the Phillies to lose.
They play the Braves.
Okay, I'm gonna be rooting for Atlanta. ATL. I don't like Philly because I've never been a Bryce guy. Never been a Bryce guy. And I know a friend of the show, Spencer from Rover Sports, he's a big Phillies fan. And, I never really minded the Phillies that much. Like, when I first got into baseball, I hated them with, like, Rollins and Holiday, and all these guys. I always liked Cliff Lee, but I did not like the Phillies early. Then they started not to do well. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, Chris, can't wait to see you at Citi Field. She works at Citi Field. I really appreciate that. And I'm not ignoring you, Cushman. You said that Montero plays for the Rangers. I just didn't see it, because I'm talking to JC. I missed some things. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, I was just going to say that, once the Phillies started to lose, more and more games each and every year, like my hatred for them just kind of vanished, but now it's back. So
yeah, I've always had hatred for the Phillies, but it's just obviously grown in this offseason, and I cannot stand Bryce Harper. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's on the Phillies, the Nationals. Obviously, that adds to it, but I've never liked that guy. I'm not a Bryce Harper fan at all.
I liked. I will say I like the blue Phillies hats. The one with the red brim?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a nice hat.
It's a Phillies hat, so I don't, but it looks
That's
nice.
a nice hat. Give credit where it's due, Chris.
I will say this about Philly Stadium. I don't know what it's called. Citizens Bank Park?
Citizens Bank, yeah.
Yeah, it is a very nice stadium. I've been there a couple of times. It's just like Citi Field. It's the same exact architect, which is why I like it. But it is a very nice stadium.
Yeah, I've been outside it. I went to a Sixer game once, and all three stadiums are really close to each other. They're like, you stand outside the Sixer stadium and you could like see. Well, yeah, you've been there.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That's like.
Yeah, you're right. Now that you say that, New York, you got Madison Square Garden over here. You got Brooklyn, over here. Nothing. It's not together.
Let me ask you, how far away are you from Barclays?
I would say 15 to 20-minute drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then about a 15-minute train ride to Penn and for the Knicks. And Mets is probably about a 10-minute car ride. I'm right by everything.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Chris has been to a ton of... Yes, I've been to 12 baseball stadiums. I'll try to do them real quick, try to remember all of them. Mets, Yankees. If you count both, I've been to the old ones too, but we won't do that. Mets and Yankees. I've been to Camden Yards. I've been to Wrigley Field. I've been to Fenway. I've been to Tampa Bay is 6. I've been to Coors Field is 7. I've been to the new Atlanta Stadium is 8. I've been to San Francisco Giants is 9. I've been to Anaheim. Anaheim Angels is 10. Did I say Wrigley?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been to 12. Maybe forgetting, off the top of my head, but I've been to 12. But yeah, I've been to 12. What about you?
That's cool, man. I've been to Mets Stadium, been to Marlins Stadium, and that's it.
Okay, we got to get you a few more. That's all. We got to get you a few. Camden Yards.
Yeah, I definitely have to come up for a few games for sure.
Yeah, Camden Yards is phenomenal. Chuck Sharts, and he's an Orioles fan, obviously. I'm 45 minutes from City. Yeah, well, you're from Long Island. Meet the Mets. We got to go to a Mets game together this year, though. I can't wait for that. Chris, do you collect memorabilia from each place? You know what? I should. I used to have the cups. I would get the soda cups from each place. They're back at my mom's house. I'm sure I still have probably half of them, but I'm sure I lost some of them.
That's cool.
Yeah, my next stadium I need to go to is. I really like to go to the Pittsburgh one. I think that looks awesome.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that stadium too.
Yeah,
PNC Park.
Yeah, PNC Park, and I want to go to the National Stadium. Looks nice.
Yeah, Marlins Park, I mean, it's like new, right? So like it has like the retractable roof and stuff like that.
What is with that thing in center field? It's like a piece of art. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It
doesn't fit at all. But I will say, watching the game, it's It's top notch, right? And granted, I haven't been to a lot of games. I've been to a ton of spring training stadiums and like the minor league stadiums. Being from Florida, obviously, I have like a ton of stadiums, within driving distance, obviously. So those are all pretty cool, but they're they definitely fail in comparison to Marlins Park. Marlins Park is off the hook.
I'm gonna give you the park, and I'm gonna give you the park that I think is the dumbest park in baseball. The way that it's architected.
Yankees.
Astros. That stupid hill in center field.
Dude, they got rid of that. They
did. Okay. And I don't like the tall fence that like jets in, and then it's got that weird like cookie cutter. That I thought it was such a dumb stadium. The way they built it, wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, my favorite stadium is like I would have to say it's the Giant Stadium because like you could hit triples all day. Like once you get it, like if you hit it perfectly right in that gap in right field, like you could just round triples all day. And just like how it looks, it's like right on the water. It's just awesome.
The Giant Stadium is probably my favorite stadium. I went to was either Fenway or Wrigley, just because of the history. You walk in there, it's like, oh my, you're getting like smashed in the face by baseball. But in terms of like the way it looks, Giant Stadium was my favorite because it's like right on the water. And, it is awesome. The San Francisco Giants Stadium and Wrigley Field is underrated. Not Wrigley, rather. Coors Field is underrated. Coors Field is
I've heard really really good things about that field.
Yeah, Coors Field is beautiful. I got to take a tour there. Beautiful stadium, Coors Field. And Mike Piazza actually still holds the record for the longest home run ever hit there. Interesting fun fact on a Sunday night. Yeah, I think it was over 500 feet. Yeah. Got to throw out those Mets facts when I can.
Yeah, Cushman says Tropicana Field is the worst MLB stadium. I would have to say it's either Tropicana, and again, this isn't like my personal experience and stuff like that, but I would have to say Oakland's up there too, the Coliseum, because I mean, it's a football stadium.
Tampa Bay is the worst. I've been to Tampa Bay. It is disgusting. That is the worst sporting stadium I've ever been in by far.
Why is it so bad? I mean, like when I watch it on TV, it's hard to watch on TV. Like the field looks weird.
Yeah,
it looks weird.
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, when you're in there, it doesn't feel like baseball. You feel like you're in like a gymnasium, and you don't like the ball up the bat doesn't sound the same. It sucks. It is horrible.
I think they are. Yeah, I think they're. I think they are getting it like they're revamping it or they're making a new stadium or something like that. Tampa.
Yeah, so I think MH asked us who is your. I think he said favorite bust. I'm assuming he's saying who do you think is the worst bust in Mets history. I mean, Jason Bay's I'm going recent history. Jason Bay's pretty bad. Luis Castillo was bad. Oliver Perez for the contracts they signed was bad. You go down the list. Robbie Alomar was really bad.
Darno
was the top prospect. He was supposed to be the gem in that trade. Was really bad. There's so many busts. I mean, Mo Vaughn. You could go on for days. I mean, obviously everybody from Generation K, Bill Pulsifer, Jason Isringhausen, even though he had more success after he left as a closer. Kaz Matsui, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of big busts as the Mets. I mean, you go on for days with that. Ike Davis is another one who started off pretty good. Who remembers
Ike Davis? Yeah.
Yeah, Mo Vaughn actually hit the longest home run ever at Shea Stadium. I remember watching that on TV. Chris and JC, don't know if you already cover this, but who you prefer to start, Alonso or I would start Alonso.
I would start Alonso too.
He earned it. You know, we'll see what they do, but I would start Alonso.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up on Dom Smith, but right now, just based off of spring training, you got to go with Alonso.
He batted almost 400 with 4 home runs. I mean, he earned it. Put Bryce Harper on the Braves, they automatically go to a World Series contest. Well, Tevin, I'm going to say this, though. The Braves' starting rotation is not that good. I mean, I was looking at the rosters before. You agree, right? Like, the Braves' starting rotation doesn't scare you.
Yeah, it doesn't. They have a lot of young pieces, though.
Yeah, no, they do.
The Braves kind of remind me of the Colts. Like, they have, like, a bunch of young guys that nobody really knows about, but their production's, like, off the charts. Like, they don't have any, like, marquee.
Yeah, I'm not saying they have a bad team. I just don't think they have the type of team that would succeed in October. They don't have that great starting rotation, in my opinion.
Yeah, but, I mean, the thing is, I mean, they were better than us last year. And
yeah, no, they were. They were.
Yeah, and our starting rotation, like, blows theirs out of the water.
Yeah, it's not everything. But I'm saying once you get into the playoffs, let's just say this. If both the Mets and Braves made the playoffs, if everything was the same, I'd rather have the Mets. I think the Mets would have a better chance. Because once you get into the playoffs, starting pitching is by far the most important thing in my opinion.
See, I think it's the bullpen.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
For the next 10 years, though, I'd rather have the Braves roster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. They're set up much nicer than we are for the future. Right now. Hopefully it changes.
Yeah.
Put Bryce Harper on the Dodgers. They would easily win and make their last 2 World Series. JC, I love you. Can you join my channel? Cushman wants you to join his channel.
Yeah, I'll check it out, man. I'll subscribe. If not, I think I actually already am subscribed to you, but I'll definitely check it out.
But yeah, we'll be live for about another 10-15 minutes. I want to go a little later, but since we were having problems at the beginning, and next time this will be much smoother. It's our first show. Maybe we'll even do something like after opening day, like an opening day night special or something.
Yeah, and plus, like when there's actual, games being played, we could like recap the games. You know what I mean? So we'll have more content, more material to talk about.
Yeah, I can't wait. Are you guys gonna cover the draft? Yes. I'm gonna have Bad Dog on, but I would love to have JC on. Not the day of because I'm gonna be on with Bad Dog, but leading up into the draft, I would absolutely love to have. I mean, we got to do another group mock too, by the way.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, we got to do that again. Those are great. But like the day before the draft, I'd love to have JC on. We talk about what we think's going to happen leading up into the draft, and even to recap it. You come on the day after, something like that. I mean, anytime I can work with JC, I'd love to. He's unbelievable. Weren't even good. Rafael Duna, there are a lot of options for who the Giants will draft. Yeah, I mean the Giants are. Well, there's a Mets show, so we're not going to talk about it. But yeah, there's a lot of options there. Not MLB related, but do you think the Jets more football? Do you think the Jets can compete the AFC East next season?
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
MH, we already talked about the Mets busts. We talked about the Mets bust. We set up great for the future, so I ain't tripping, Tevin. I think he's talking Giants there. But, yeah, we know that there's going to be a lot of football stuff because we're just getting the show going. But, yeah, recap.
Here's a good question from MH. Okay. He just popped in. He said, favorite Mets moments. Top 5.
Okay. Top 5. I got to go with one of the moments that made me a Mets fan. Like, I remember I was leaning Mets. Like, I was a Mets fan. But the moment that put me over the top to become a diehard Mets fan was it was a regular season game. Mets-Yankees, Subway Series game. Matt Franco walk-off single against Mariano Rivera. He hadn't blown a save in like over a year. And pinch hitter for the Mets. They're down 1, bottom of the 9th. They get 2 runners on, second and third, 2 outs, and Franco lines a single between first and second. Mets win. That's definitely up there for me. The walk-off single by Robin Ventura, I remember watching that as a kid, even though they get knocked, a grand slam single. I remember watching that as a kid, just getting goosebumps. The Andy Chavez catch was incredible, even though they lost the game.
Yeah, my best friend's, he was actually in the crowd right behind him. So if like you go back and you look at the picture, you could see him. He's like 1 or 2 rows back. It's crazy. He's a little kid, yeah.
Wow. That whole run by Daniel Murphy, I mean, that's got to be up there for me. I can't give you one specific moment, but what was it, 6 home runs in 6 games? And a play that often goes overlooked that everybody forgets about wasn't even the home run. He had such a valuable stolen base in that series against the Dodgers. It was a tight game. It was like 1-1. I think Greinke was pitching, so it was hard to get runs. And Lucas Duda's at the plate. Murphy's on first. And Duda walks. And they don't have anybody covering third because they had the shift on for Duda. So as Murphy's walking to second, heads up play, he steals third on the walk.
Oh, I do remember that. that. Yeah.
And then they hit the sac fly to get Murphy in, and that ended up being the deciding run in that game. That was
Who hit the sac fly? Was it Conforto? I think Conforto hit the sac fly.
I think you're right. But that was a huge moment that I remember off the top of my head that I love. Obviously, the 9/11 home run by Piazza. I mean, so many great moments. I mean, unfortunately, no championships, but.
Yeah, I mean, few of mine, and like I said, I've been around for that long. I haven't been like a diehard Met fan for like, my whole entire life, but I've been, keeping up with the team for the last, 10, 11, 12 years. Reyes' batting title, because that was like really the year I fell in love with the sport. Johan's no-hitter.
Now Reyes didn't really earn that batting title.
Yeah, I know. Drop that button. He booked it to first base, but yeah, he still got it.
He still got it.
Yeah, Johan's no-hitter, like I said.
Yeah.
Amazing moment. I mean, there's a lot of good moments, man. I mean, RA's Cy Young season, that was good. I remember when he had I think he had back-to-back one-hitters against
Yes.
the Rays and the Orioles.
Yes.
Really good stuff. And like I think one of them, I think the play against the Rays, it was Wright bobbled it, but they ruled it a hit.
Right.
But like looking back on it, they could have changed it to an error, or like they wish they changed it to an error or something like that, which would have made it a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wilmer Flores when he hit the
Yes.
when he hit the homer.
Great
Yeah,
moment.
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
he's crying the night before, and because he thinks he's traded off the team, and then the very next night he hits a walk-off homer to win the game. That was a moment that kind of started to shift that season. Like that moment.
That was the pivoting point, because then we got Cespedes.
Yeah.
And everything changed, and then we went on the run, and Cespedes just like went on a monster tear. Like I remember just him just hitting moonshots like in Colorado, just like propelling us to the playoffs. It was crazy.
I've never seen, other than Piazza, I've never seen a player, and as a Met, obviously it's happened. I remember Vlad Guerrero 1 year on the Angels when he won the MVP. I mean, the September he had was ridiculous, but I've never seen a player in a Mets uniform carry a team the way Cespedes did down the stretch that year. Of course, it resulted in a horrible contract for the Mets, but he got us to a World Series, so you can't really be that upset about it. Yeah, before his walk. Oh, another great moment I just thought of. Carlos Beltran, game-winning catch. I don't remember if it won the game. I think he caught it, and then he had a walk-off home run in the same game when he ran up that hill at Astros Field. Guy hit a bullet to center field. It would have been a game-winning hit, and he runs up the hill, and he makes a diving catch on top of the hill. And then I think he had a walk-off home run on the bottom. I don't remember, but that play. And Ray Ordonez made the greatest play I've ever seen a shortstop make. When somebody hit a slow roller to Alfonso, he dives across the diamond. Just the instincts to know how to do that, and he threw the guy out. I mean, these are just plays that are popping in my head as I'm talking about. So many memorable, man. I love the Mets. Love the Mets.
Yeah, the 60 feet 6 inches thing was crazy too with Thor.
Oh my God!
You remember that?
Yeah.
And the whole like the feud with Utley and just like throwing at him, just like right from the get go, just like whipping a fastball and it just went straight behind him. That was crazy. That was cool.
Yeah.
I like it when my teams play with that edge.
Yeah.
No, I don't like when teams like get pushed around. You know what I mean?
That's probably why you like Brody. He brings him that edge. Yeah, I'm a Brody guy too. I like what he's brought to the team. Oh, Bartolo Colon, the home run.
yeah.
Good call there, Michael. Good call. That's a good one. Do you think the Nats will still be good even without Harper? They could be, yeah.
I definitely think so. They have. I still would say Scherzer's the best pitcher in the game.
He's up there for sure.
And you know what's crazy too? Like I always root against him because I have just like a tendency, like it's just how I'm wired, like to root against like really good players. But after like really 2 years ago, I mean, I was just watching him pitch one day. I'm like, you know what, man, this guy's so good. Like I just love his game. Just like his two-seam fastball, he has like this slurve ball. Like he is good, man, and like his windup is kind of weird. Yeah,
he's always. I remember on the Diamondbacks, the stats weren't there yet, but you saw it. He had that killer fastball. He's always been great. Somebody just asked, "What's the worst Mets trade of all time?" I mean, Nolan Ryan is pretty damn bad. They traded Nolan Ryan early in his career. He came up with the Mets. There's a lot of bad trades. I mean, Bobby Bonilla, right? Did they sign Bobby Bonilla or trade for him? I know they signed him. They signed him the first time. The second time was really bad. This signing, they're still paying him for that. I'm trying to think of really, really bad trades. The Benson trade. When they traded, even though he didn't amount to much, they traded Casimir for Benson. And that was actually for Victor Zambrano. They made 2 trades the same day. They brought in, the Mets were basically like 2 games under 500, and they hadn't competed in the longest time, and they traded away all their top prospects to bring in 2 mediocre pitchers, and they just absolutely sucked. It was like 2003 for Victor Zambrano and Chris Benson, and they absolutely sucked.
That's crazy. Yeah, Zambrano's a guy. Yeah, he played for the Marlins, the Cubs. I remember him.
Yeah. Oh, you might be thinking about Carlos Zambrano.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, the Victor Zambrano they brought in. But he was a pitcher that was supposed to have all this talent, and he just never amounted to anything as a Met. I said Andy Chavez's catch. Oh, I was at that, GC. I was at that game where Delgado had the 9 RBIs at Yankee Stadium. I actually went to both games that day. It was a doubleheader. The first one was at Yankees. The second one was at Shea. I went to both games. So I was at the first game when Delgado had I think it was 2 grand slams or 2 home runs for sure and 9 RBIs. And he was having a really bad year before that game. And then that game propelled him. He had one of the best second halves ever. I was at that game. I was at both games that day.
That's cool. Yeah, Tevin says Diamondbacks have the best jerseys. I would say Oakland A's.
Yeah, they have great jerseys.
I don't know. I'm a green and yellow guy. I like, Green Bay, Seattle Sonics. Like, I always think, like, the green and yellow, like, they go really... I just prefer green.
I always like the Reds jerseys, actually. I always thought they were cool looking.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nice. Super nice.
They do have nice jerseys, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot, man. The Mariners, the Rockies.
Braves, Pirates, Diamondbacks, Marlins have the best jerseys. Oh, there you go. That's what Tevin thinks there. Pavith's in the house, by the way. What's up, Pavith? Shout out, fellas. As a Yanks fan, I detested Pedro Martinez. As a Mets fan, who's yours? Okay, who's the guy that we detest the most in Mets history? I hated... Like
that is a Met, or...
No. I think he means because he hated Pedro Martinez as a Yankee fan.
Okay.
My player that I hated the most. I mean, John Rocker.
Say Bryce Harper.
Oh, he hates him, yeah.
Utley. And there... I want to say Chipper Jones, probably.
See, I obviously hated Chipper Jones, but I respected him. I think he's a good guy. He never did it. Rocker, I hated. John Rocker, he's probably number 1 for me. I hated Andrew Jones. Hated Andrew Jones. Rafael Furcal. Hated Rafael Furcal. Those are my 3 most hated Braves of all time. Rafael Furcal, Andrew Jones, and John Rocker. I hate Bryce Harper. Victorino. Oh, God. Victorino. Oh. Yeah, I hate him too. Those guys are all up there for me. Oh, and Pat Burrell. Pat Burrell couldn't hit him against anybody but the Mets. He had like 250 career home runs, like 40 came against the Mets.
That's crazy. Trying to think. I don't know, man. I mean, hate's a strong word, so I only have a few guys,
Yeah, well, you would have hated John Rocker. Yeah,
I'm trying to think, man. Like, maybe it's because I'm not in the baseball mindset. Once I get in, like, the baseball, like, in the swing of things, then the hatred will come out a little bit. But, right now we're still
low key.
The smoke is still settled. Yeah.
Favorite Mets haircut? That's a random question. How about the time where Carlos Beltran had that fake hair? Right? I don't know if he was a Met then, though. He might have been a Yankee. I don't remember. I hate Kershaw. Kershaw to me, Tevin. I know he's been getting hurt lately, and he's not the best in the postseason. But Kershaw, you could argue, is one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers ever. I mean, what that guy's been able to do, it's unheard of. I mean, for a 4 or 5 year stretch, he's unbelievable, Kershaw.
Stanton is another guy who I don't like.
Stanton, yeah.
Like Stanton, yeah. Giancarlo Stanton, whatever.
Yeah, I don't like Stanton either. Damn, Mets fans hate the Dodgers, I see. We don't hate the Dodgers. I mean, I don't
like the Dodgers.
Oh, by the way, trivia question. If there's Dodger fans in here, I always like to ask this one. This is a very... And I'll think of the names as I'm thinking of it. The Dodgers in the early to mid-'90s won 5 Rookie of the Years in a row. Name them.
I can't name any. I mean, I wasn't into baseball in the 90s.
Yeah. But I'll name them. You had Hideo Nomo. I'm not doing it in order. Hideo Nomo, Todd Hollandsworth, Mike Piazza, Raul Mondesi, and Eric Karros. 5 Rookie of the Years in a row. Could you imagine that? One team. 5 Rookie of the Years in a row.
That's great. Did they ever win a championship?
Nope.
Did they ever make to the postseason?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they made it. I think they made it as a wild card with Piazza once. Yes.
Yeah, he says worst jerseys in baseball.
Worst jerseys in baseball. I'd have to think about that. Tampa Bay Rays. I don't like their jerseys. I don't like the Marlins jerseys either.
What about the new Marlins jerseys? I gotta say, man, I saw them in person. The blue ones, they're not that bad.
I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the new ones. They just came out this year?
Yeah, they have a whole new logo and everything.
Oh, I didn't see it. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fusion between like the old ones and the new ones. It's like teal. It kind of has like that Miami Vice vibe, like the neon pink and light blue kind of.
I already don't like it.
It's definitely not as bad as like the gray ones and the black ones last season. Just sucked.
Yeah.
Worst one. I don't know. I don't like Boston's uniforms. Like, this thing's so plain.
Yeah. You don't like the old school jerseys.
I mean, there's some that I really like the Mets I like, the Dodgers I really like. Yankees, you can't like hate those ones.
Yeah.
But I just don't like Boston lettering.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Astros, worse.
Oh, those are bad ones. Good call.
The blue is it's just bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
My favorite jersey. Let's see. That sculpture, yes, that's what we were talking about earlier, Michael. That sculpture was disgusting in center field. I throw up every time I see it. Bro, you just said the Marlins have the worst jerseys, Chris, my guy. You know nothing about style, bro. LOL. I'm not a fan of the Marlins jerseys. I'm not. Blue Jays.
I like the Blue Jays, man. I really like the Blue Jays.
I like the hat. I know that. I like their hat.
Yeah. They also have like the spring training one where it's just the maple leaf, which is cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of the jersey off the top of my head. I have to think about it.
It's like a throwback.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? It's white. It just says Blue.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I hate it. It's like okay.
Yeah, I like the Blue Jays. I like the Blue Jays as a team. Like they're pretty. Even though like the first thought I think of when I think of Blue Jays, I think of really two things. I think of Joey Bats with the mega bat flip, which is incredible.
No, it wasn't. I hate that shit. I hate.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. It was awesome. And then him just getting decked in the face by Odor.
Right. Oh, when he punched.
Which was also awesome.
Yes. Yeah, that was awesome. Chris, can I DM you on Twitter about a? Yeah, sure. Let's see what we got here. You think Kyler Murray would have had a good MLB career if he stuck to baseball? Chuck Sharks, good question. We'll never know, to be honest. I mean, it's up in the air. I mean, there's so many top prospects. Half of them don't pan out. So if Kyler Murray thinks he's going to be a great quarterback, I fully understand him coming out. Because there's never any guarantees in baseball. You could easily not make it. You could be the top prospect in baseball and never make it.
Yeah.
You know? Predictions on how many games are the Mets going to win? I'll go first. I'm going to be optimistic and say we stay relatively healthy. Now, recent history would tell you we won't. But if the Mets stay relative, and I'm not saying they don't endure any injuries because that's just not realistic, but if they stay relatively healthy, I'm going to go 90 and 72 if they stay relatively healthy. 90 and 72.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say around like 88, 87 wins.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if they get injuries...
I don't think we'll be amazing. I don't think we'll be amazing.
Yeah. No, but the other thing I'll say, if they are able to stay in contention, they could make that big push like they did the World Series here and pick up that big piece at the deadline.
Kluber, yeah.
Yeah, so you never know. Batista still a free agent. Yeah, he's done. I mean, I know he played decent with the Mets last year, but do you think the Mets will sign JetsCentral to become JetsCentral? Ooh, great question by MH.
Dude, I would do it. I would do it for sure. I was actually thinking about making a basketball channel. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, I'm thinking about doing this, by the way. I'm thinking about doing this, so I'll invite you now. I know you're a Jets channel, but I like the fact that you're coming on here. You're kind of branching out, and hopefully you pick up some new people from this. I had an idea for basketball to do mock drafts, and you're more than welcome to do group mock drafts, talking about the draft. I'm already working with Sim on it, so you're more than welcome to come and talk and join it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I mean, the one thing is, football is my first love. Always has been, always will be. But the thing is, with football, it's I feel like the knowledge is there. With basketball,
you're still learning.
I don't really know what's going on as far as coaching and stuff like that. Obviously, pick and roll, all that crap. I do understand. But as far as measurables and intangibles, all that stuff, I don't really I really don't feel like I have a full grasp on everything. But football, I definitely feel comfortable talking about any situation that could arise. But for basketball, I'm unclear on how the cap works, unclear on how the draft, a lot of there's a lot of stuff coaching and all that stuff as well. I just feel a little hazy on, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what I haven't done, or why I don't really make a lot of content on that stuff.
I hear you. Let's see, we got Enzo's in the chat, by the way. How you doing, Enzo? Since Gronk retired today, will he have success in the MLB? No.
He might in the WWE, though.
I can see that. What are your guys' opinions on White Sox? I've never been there. And I off the top of my head, I don't really... It never really stood out to me. I've seen it. It seemed like a normal stadium on TV.
Yeah, they have the peppermint things, in the outfield.
Yeah.
I don't know what those are about, but...
One stadium that I think looks really cool is Royals with the fountains.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's out in the middle of middle of nowhere though.
Yeah, it
I
does.
like the Royals though.
Yeah. I think that's a cool one. And there he is. There's Cushman. He couldn't resist. In my opinion, JC was robbed during the sexy season.
Yeah, what is this? What is that? I keep getting DMs on Twitter like, "Yo, you got bounced out." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" I don't even know what it is.
It was a silly tournament that we just did for fun on the nonsense stream where we picked out the 16 best looking male YouTubers, and you were in it.
Oh, okay, so
And
that's what you guys are live streaming about, like.
Well, that was just like a 5-minute segment, but yeah, it was a joke. But you got knocked out. By, who knocked you out? I think it was Josh from the Sports Fury.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Josh from the Sports Fury knocked you out.
Damn, man, better football team and better looking. Crazy. Josh is balling right now. Josh is balling.
Ready for New Jersey. JC didn't even know about it. Yeah, he didn't. Well, I think he knew about it kind of, but he didn't. Yeah. When will the Mets release some new unis? What are you laughing at?
Just some of these comments, man.
Oh, the entertainer has a nice. Yeah. That's Cushman. He's a lunatic. I don't know why he makes that account. I tell him to stop doing it, but he keeps doing it.
Angels uniforms. I like them, man. Shohei Ohtani's one of my favorite players.
Ohtani.
He's actually my favorite player.
He's not going to pitch this year, though, right?
I don't know.
I
don't think so.
Yeah, I heard he's not going to pitch.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, still, though, what he did last year was remarkable.
Oh, God. Yeah. Now, I had this argument with Bad Dog today, actually, and he said that he thought, what's the name of the Yankees guy again? Andujar. He said that he thought Andujar should win Rookie of the Year last year over him.
Oh, give me a break. No way. Is he a Yankee fan?
Of course.
All right, case closed. That takes away all of his arguments. I mean, how do you pitch that well as a rookie and then hit that well as a rookie and do both in one season and not win Rookie of the Year, which isn't like a crazy accomplishment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping he'd get to continue to do it. This year, unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to pitch. But you could argue if he was able to maintain that over a whole year and pitch a full 32 games and hit the way he did, he doesn't even need to put up monster stats. He could win an MVP award because it's so valuable to have a top 25, 30 pitcher in baseball and then a very good hitter. Like, that's extreme value, you know?
It is crazy, man.
Yeah.
Give me one second. I have to plug in my computer.
RBIs are the most important stat. And, I mean, Cushman doesn't quit. Like, he has just become like this troll. He's become this troll. And JC's going to plug in the computer, and we'll go to 11. It's 10:44. We'll go to 11.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, entertainer, how the hell are you, pal? How are you, Elegant Elliot? Thank you so much for tuning in the stream, my man. I'm doing good. Thank you for tuning in. Anybody who's not done so, go into the description and check this man's channel out. You will not regret it. We're going to be doing this every week. So this is just the beginning. In season, this is going to be so much more exciting. I cannot wait once the season gets going. Women throw the pen. Oh, yes, they do, Jeremy. Yes, they do. I've been there. I've seen it. I feel like you don't like me anymore. If you want, I'll never. It's up to you. It's up to you, man. What's our thoughts on Julio Teheran? The Mets never seem to do well against him.
He's good, man. He's good. He has a funky windup, but he's good.
Yeah,
he has a nice splitter.
Yeah, he's been a good pitcher.
Splitter and changeup, yeah.
He's been a good pitcher for the Braves for a while. Entertainer, I bet you thought I was a troll. Yeah, well, you kind of are a troll, Chuck Sharps, but you're a great troll. You're funny as hell. I'm married. It's not the case anymore. Chris,
I like Chuck's logo.
Oh,
or his avatar, whatever.
Yeah, it used to be something else, I think. Maybe it was always the Orioles. I think he had something else there before. I forget.
The Orioles have some of the coolest, like, color. Like, I don't know, it just reminds me of Halloween.
Yeah. I like the Orioles. Actually, that's one of my favorite uniforms. Now that we're talking about it, I love that color coordination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Giants have it too, but Baltimore does it way better.
Yeah, way better. Yeah, I agree. Mr. Bad Dog, okay. Thoughts on Des Bryant to the Jets? Besides Vargas and Darno,
I don't think Des is going to go to the Jets.
No, I don't think so. Julio Teheran may be my favorite player outside of Freddie Freeman.
Freeman's a beast, man.
Oh, man. Another guy that always kills the Mets.
Yeah.
We already talked about that, Kyle, our favorite MLB. He's only been to 2. I've been to 12, and I would go with the Wrigley or Fenway.
I definitely want to make it out to AT&T, though. That park, Giants Park, looks awesome.
Yeah. No, you have to go if you're a baseball fan. You have to if you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, would you be interested in like definitely going to a few games this year, whether it's like
100%
in New York or not?
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Because that'd be pretty awesome, man. Like we could even like do a stream from a stadium.
We could do a series. We could go to a city for a 3-game series. Hang out in.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, hang out in wherever, Pittsburgh for Mets, Pittsburgh, wherever. But yeah, we could go to. That's what I used to do when I was younger. I would go to a city like the Wrigley Field. I went there for a series. Fenway, I went there for a series. When the Mets.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, definitely.
Actually, that would be cool to organize with some of the people that are on our channels to go plan something for 2-3 days and meet up, stay in the hotel, and go to a couple of games together. That'd be cool.
Yeah, or even taking a poll and going to the city, like for Chuck. Like I don't even know if he's from Baltimore, if he lives in like that area, but if we go to like a Oriole Met series, meeting up with them at the going to their cities, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I'm going to the Giants for Jets. Oh, yeah, that's awesome, Chuck. We'll be there.
Yeah, we'll be there. We're
going to be organizing that. When do you want to start organizing that? Probably like June-ish, June, July?
Well, we have to figure out when it's going to be, because if it's week 1 or week 16, like.
Right, good point.
And I have no idea when they're actually going to drop the schedule anyway, so.
They usually do it right around the draft, I'm pretty sure.
Sentinel, April 4th, so coming up, I think it's like 2 weeks from now.
What is?
For the Jets new uniforms. It was just a question.
Oh, okay. Oh, Sentinel's a Jet fan. I knew he was a Met fan. I didn't realize he was a Jet fan. From the unknown, I ran away. I don't think I'm coming back home. What? If you had a choice to make it in the early career of the Mets, who would you choose, Harper, Ortiz, or McGuire? Harper, because he's the best all-around player. Ortiz was a DH, and McGuire was a decent fielding first baseman, but he was just power. He wasn't anything else. Harper definitely have those 3. Right? You would agree, right? Ortiz in the National League wouldn't work.
Is he talking about David Ortiz?
I'm assuming.
Dude, I honestly think Ortiz is one of the most overrated players.
Okay, I had this argument the other day. Edgar Martinez should not be a Hall of Famer. I feel like he's a Hall of Famer based solely on the fact that he's thought of as the best DH ever. Like, if you put Carlos Delgado's numbers up against him, Carlos Delgado was arguably just as good of a hitter as Edgar Martinez was, and he didn't even get thought of to be in the Hall of Fame because he wasn't the best DH ever. But because Edgar Martinez was a DH, it almost benefited him. You would think it would hurt him. It almost benefited him in getting in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Yeah, the whole DH thing is just weird. I think, I don't know, man. It's tough because I do like the different aspect of it, like I like how NL has their own quality. I like how, there's the NL style of baseball with bunting and it's just a lot more
double switches.
Right. Yeah. Whereas I feel like AL just more like let the athletes be athletes.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the DH, man, you have to look at their stats a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because you take Mike Trout, take him off the field, his numbers are going to go up for offense when all he has to focus on is offense.
Right. You could be all you're thinking about is your next at bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I'd actually go down to the Mets Stadium for an Orioles. Oh, I'm there, man. I'm there. If you do that, I will absolutely go to that. From the unknown, they play the Orioles this year, I believe. They play the Orioles, I believe, this year. But
it's crazy. It's crazy how there's 162 games and we only play certain teams very few times.
Yeah. Oh, well, we only play the Orioles once every 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, it's like football too, right? I mean, we only play the Jets once every 4 years.
Yeah, but I mean.
But 16. You're right.
But there's only 16 games.
Yeah. I kind of look at it like it's more like 50 games because each series is on average 3 games. So divide 160 by 3. It's more like 50 games. That's the way I look at it because it's a series, right? So I look at it more like it's 50 times you go to a different stadium.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd actually go to see if we got any more comments here. We're going to close this out in a couple of minutes. Better home run hitter, Harper. Is a better home run hitter than Trout, but Trout's a much better player. Orioles played the Mets. Oh, they did. So maybe they don't play. I haven't looked at. I thought they played this year, so I guess they don't.
I still think they do. I think the Orioles do play the Mets.
Yeah, because I thought
I like Baltimore, man. Wait, is Chuck? Do the Raven or do the Orioles have the #1 pick this year? I think they do.
The Orioles, you said? Yeah, I think they do. Yeah, they do.
That's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mid-season, like with the whole draft and everything like that.
I always watch that now. I never did, but the last like 3 or 4 years, I watched the MLB draft.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I always like every draft.
Yeah. Answer me. Why is JC so sexy? God. So.
Who ended up winning that tournament thing?
I did.
Of
course. I
course.
had home field advantage. My bitch. Yeah, so it's 10:51. Seems to be slowing down a bit. So
Yeah, my phone died. That's why I'm not like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you can't see the chat. But this was a good first show. We're gonna get this going. Next Sunday we'll be 3 games in, right? I mean, because it starts Thursday.
Yeah.
So they probably take Friday off. That's usually what they do after opening day. So Sunday will probably be their 3rd game against the Nationals. And we'll get to recap the series hopefully, and should be a lot of fun.
Preview the next one.
And I don't know if you're free that day. I know you're probably going to be off, and I don't know if you have the MLB package yet, but I'm probably going to live stream that game if you're interested. That Sunday.
Which game, on Sunday?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a game on Sunday? Because it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
But I'm pretty sure.
Oh, they usually skip that one day.
Skip the second day. It's like Thursday. They'll probably take Friday off, then Saturday, Sunday. That's usually what they do.
Right. Yeah, I have to see if I'm off at that place.
Yeah. I'm just saying. Scherzer or DeGrom on Thursday. That's the pitching matchup. Should be a great one. I'm gonna go DeGrom. Favorite Mets food to eat at the ballpark. I'm traditional. I mean, I know that they got all that crazy food. You've been to Citi Field, right?
Once.
They got all these crazy food you could get. But I get a hot dog, or I get chicken fingers sometimes. I'll get pizza once in a blue. I go to Shake Shack, and they got that pulled pork sandwich I get once in a while. They also got tacos there, which are good.
Yeah, Shake Shack. Down when I was like, I'd always go visit my brother and my friends down at FAU, Florida Atlantic University. They always had a Shake Shack right outside the college and like right on campus, and it was so good. And that's like the closest one towards me, or near me rather. And it was just like amazing. Like the fries, everything was so good. And I didn't get it when I was up in Met Stadium. I forgot to get it.
Oh, I love Shake. But the line at Shake Shack is, what's going on? Big Blue for Life is in the house. What's up, Met fans? One of my favorite. We're going to be closing this out in about 5 minutes, Big Blue. But I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. I'm sure you already are a supporter of JC because you're a great supporter of mine. But if you're not, go into that description. But I know you are. The Mets have a tough opening. Yes, they do. But Omkar, by the same token, the Nationals have a tough opening. I mean, they're going up against DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler. I mean, it's pretty tough.
Pretty tough.
That's the way I look at it. We got Friday.
Would you make Wheeler the 3rd starter?
Yeah.
So you're going to be giving the Nationals 3 straight righties to look at?
Yeah, I don't trust.
Because the lefty with the time switch, right, in the day, going like righty at night, and then in the day, lefty, you don't think that plays a part? Or do you think it does play a part, but it's just not that big of a deal?
It plays a part, but like you said earlier, don't get cute. Yeah, you want to start setting your rotation the right way. Wheeler's your 3rd guy. Throw him out there. He's the 3rd guy. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll.
You're a little bit more sold on Wheeler than I am.
I like him a lot more than Mats. I don't know if I'm completely sold on him, but I'm not a Mats guy.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I met Wheeler actually down at at the spring training. He drives a huge Ford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like F350, like diesel, freaking, like huge thing.
Seems like a cool. I actually almost got run over by Todd Zeal when I was at Shea Stadium once. He had a Jetta. Of all cars, Todd Zeal's driving a Jetta. But yeah,
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, he almost
ran me. What these athletes drive.
Yeah.
What would you drive if you were famous? If you like playing on the Knicks or something like that, what would you go out and get?
I mean, I would get a nice car. I don't think I would get one of these like Lamborghinis, but I would probably get like a Mercedes, nothing like. I know what you would get. You like those. You like the more racy kind of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If I was in the league, I'd probably get like, I don't know, a GTR R8 or something like that. Bro, you already have a nice car. You got a Challenger,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Still got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you would go with like the Cespedes approach.
Yeah.
He's got all those crazy cars.
Yeah.
But,
It'd be cool, man.
Yeah. Marlins went down with yes, Asia. Unfortunately, after he died, they entertain on a scale of 1 to 10. How good is JC? JC's Moss is a 12. I mean, his hair's fantastic. McNeil or Ahmed, who will have the better year? Ahmed. I'll go with Ahmed. I think he's all around. I like him more as a player.
Rosario's a lot better on defense too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, when you factor everything in. JC, if you were an MLB player, what position would you play?
Closer.
You love the closers.
Yeah, just got to have that mentality. Just 3 strikes, or 3 outs, you're done. Just come in, just lock up the game.
Probably the most important position on a baseball team. You could argue that. But when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, I mean, you could argue that's the most important position in modern-day baseball.
Yeah, thing is, though, is that if your team's not winning, you're not impacting it like the team at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, Kenny Powers, closing the games. Closer for sure.
If Jose Fernandez wouldn't go get killed, easily would have been in the top 5. He would have been very good.
Fernandez?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd been top 5.
Beast.
He was a beast. Yeah. But
I would say he would have been top 5.
Yeah, I mean,
he was good. I mean, maybe it's because I'm from Florida. I watched a ton of his games, but he had ball. It would come out it would just come out of his hand, looking like a curveball, but it would hang up there and it would just break so late.
Yeah. I think JC's starting to break.
It was. They're not so.
JC, you're starting to break up.
Can you hear me?
Now you might be better. I hear you a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're still frozen though. But we're gonna close this out anyway. But I'm gonna give you a minute to see if you get the connection back better. Yeah, JetsCentral the robot. MHS Lag Central. But he's starting to get back into it. I think he's starting to get back into it.
Can you hear me? You guys hear me now?
A little bit. Freeze Central. JC is static. Yeah. A little bit. Now you're all right. Either way, we're closing this out. It's 10:58. I just want to say. I think you're better. I just want to say thank you. Cool. I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. I apologize for all the inconvenience. I was hoping to have us up by 9 o'clock. My computer was all screwy. I was having problems with Skype. But this is going to be a weekly show. We're going to get it going in season. Hopefully this starts to grow as the Mets get into the fold. I had a great time. JC, cannot wait till next week. And hopefully maybe we'll be able to stream that game together as well. We'll see. But definitely have you on, man, throughout the season. It's going to be a blast. And if you haven't done so, once again, go into that description and check out this man, Free Central, Static Central, whatever you want to call him. But yeah, JC, I'm going to let you close it out like I always do.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, Sunday at 9, right? You plan on 9 o'clock still?
Sunday at 9, that's going to be the show. Yeah, going forward, yep.
Cool, man. Yeah, well, thanks for everybody that tuned in. Thanks for crazy. I mean, a huge honor. Baseball's a long season. It's definitely a grind, and I just appreciate the olive branch on letting me come out and talk Mets.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw out the olive branch right now. Last year, and it's up to you, but we did the picks on your channel. If you want to do it on my channel this week, or we can alternate. Maybe it helps you get more exposure. Definitely do that on my channel as well if you want.
For football?
Yeah, for football. I'm just saying if you want. Up to you.
Oh yeah, cool, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we'll figure it out. I mean, we got a ton of time.
Yeah, exactly. But, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are the best, and we will see you guys soon. I mean, I'll be live tomorrow. JCL, I'm sure I'll have 3 videos out tomorrow, so we'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, guys. Thank you guys for